You may not know German, but you may have heard one of these words at one point or another. Neuschwanstein, Dachau, and Glockenspiel. I'm going to take you on a trip through Germany. I'm credible to talk about this topic because in 2016 I went to Germany and learned a lot about the country. My speech is about popular places in Germany, some of them fun and exciting, others intense and depressing. Today I will be talking about Neuschwanstein, Dachau, and the Glockenspiel of Munich. Let's begin with a very famous castle in Germany. Here is a picture of Neuschwanstein Castle. Neuschwanstein Castle is located in southwest Bavaria, Germany. It was built for Bavaria's King Louis II, also known as Mad King Louis. Construction began in 1868, but was never completed. The castle was about the same square footage as the White House, with only 14 bedrooms, although it was meant to have more than 200. The highest tower reaches a height of 216 feet. Neuschwanstein Castle, with its white limestone facade and deep blue turrets, is rumored to be the real-life inspiration for the castle in the Disney classic Cinderella, released in 1950. My experience at Neuschwanstein Castle was one to remember. We went on a guided tour of the castle. Although you can find some pictures online, we were not able to take pictures in the interior. Everything was ornate: the walls, the ceilings, the floors, and even the furniture. The castle housed some of the most beautiful art I have ever seen. This is why Neuschwanstein is a place I will always remember. As we left the castle, we traveled south to Dachau. This is a picture of the Dachau concentration camp. Dachau was the first concentration camp that opened in 1933. It was first used to house political prisoners. Dachau is best known for the genocide of the Jews. Prisoners at the camp died from malnutrition, disease, overwork, were executed, and died from brutal medical experiments. In 1942, construction began on Barracks X, the crematorium that eventually consisted of 4 sizable ovens that used to incinerate corpses. Over 200,000 prisoners were cataloged as having passed through the gates. Thousands were never registered, making it impossible to know exactly how many people were imprisoned at Dachau and how many died there. The camp was liberated on April 29, 1945. My experience at the camp was very overwhelming. We went on a self-guided tour of the camp. The foundations of all the barracks were still up, making it easy to picture the buildings the prisoners stayed in. There were many chapels where people could pray and that were built for the visitors. They had rebuilt a barrack so that we could see what conditions were like. A perimeter fence was up that was designed to make escaping impossible, along with 7 watchtowers overlooking the camp. There was a prohibited zone where prisoners would be shot the second they set foot on it, and there was a blood ditch that doesn't need much explanation. There were gas chambers that had never been used for mass killings. The incineration room housed 4 furnaces that could cremate 2 to 3 corpses at once, and most hangings happened right in front of the burning ovens. To stand there and realize that these things were happening to people was a sobering experience for me. On the last part of the tour, we traveled to the Glockenspiel of Munich. This is a picture of the Glockenspiel. The Glockenspiel was built in 1908. This 260-foot tower has 32 life-size figurines that act out the story. The show lasts about 15 minutes with different tunes played on the clock's 43 bells. The top part of the clock recounts the story of the fantastically expensive and lavish marriage of the Bavarian King Duke Wilhelm V in 1568. The bottom half and second story is the Cooper's Dance. The Cooper's Dance is tied to the end of the 1517 plague, when the local Coopers lured the frightened residents back out into the streets with some foot-slapping dancing. At the end of the show, a small golden bird on the top chirps 3 times, marking the end of the spectacle. We walked through the crowded streets of Munich and saw a neo-Gothic building that stood out from all of the others. We found a spot right in the center so we could clearly see the show. I remember the songs being a little eerie, and it was odd because I didn't know the history behind it until I did the research for this assignment. Today, I talked about the history and my experiences at Neuschwanstein Castle, Dachau, and the Glockenspiel of Munich. Having the experiences opened my eyes to the country of Germany and made me want to travel more and learn more about foreign countries. Thank you.